Indianapolis Colts 2022 roster grades. Let's get right into it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Let's go. Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Linebackers. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and hope you guys enjoy. Okay, we got the Colts roster grading. This should be fun. Of course, look at the news quick. The Browns now have the first ever female assistant GM, Catherine Reishi, which sounds really cool. If I butchered her name, my bad. Matt Eberflus is talking about defense. I'll put it like that. No, he's honoring a jersey number, whatever. Saints break out in new helmets. Okay, that's cool. Either way, guys, let's get right into the video. All right, we're starting out with the quarterbacks, obviously. For the Colts, Matt Ryan's their starter. He's their starter. Nick Foles is their backup. Nick Foles is not a bad backup. Arguably top 10 backup. He's a good backup. There's nothing really much more to say. He came in and he lit up the Seahawks. I don't really know what else to say. Jack Cohn, UDFA, I mean, he's interesting. He won't get a start. He's another typical Notre Dame quarterback, mobile. Better arm than Ian Book did, but still a Dumbo. But yeah, Sam Ehlinger, he's serviceable too. He makes a lot of egg throws. He's a really gutsy scrambler. He's pretty fast too. Really good to have him as a backup as well. But of course, Matt Ryan's their starter. Matt Ryan's an older guy. He's going to be a field general. He's going to be like Philip Rivers, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say he's a B quarterback. He's like a B- B quarterback, but he's an above average quarterback. He's not one of the best in the league. Definitely not one of the worst in the league. Just about average, but pretty good. Let's get right to the ratings. The Colts obviously have a very experienced group at the quarterback position. And even if, say, Matt Ryan gets hurt, I think they're fine. I'll give him a B-. I think higher of Matt Ryan than a lot of other people do. I'll be honest with you on that. I think Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. He's a field general. He's a B- quarterback. He's good, but he's not good. He's not C+. He's a little bit better than C+. I'll put it that way. So that's a B-, which is 20 plus 3.3, so it's 23.33 out of 30, which is about, what would that translate to? Out of 10, that's, let's say it's 24. Yeah, round it up to 24, even though that doesn't make any sense. 24 out of 30, that's 8 out of 10. Not 8 out of 10. Yeah, it actually is 8 out of 10. So, yeah, 80%. That's a little high, but still. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Okay, now for the running backs. Jonathan Taylor, he's a top 5 running back, arguably top 3. I'd have him a 3 or 2, I'll be honest with you on that. He's really good, obviously. The only concern I have for him is he could get hurt. He has had a huge workload. I calculated this right now, but let's see. Okay, so okay, so in college, he had over, that's basically 300. So he had 926 touches in college. He's had 534 touches in the NFL. He's had 1,460 carries since 2018. Or 2017 or 2018. One of the 2 years. I'm not the one to tell the Colts that they shouldn't use him like that, but no offense. And then you add like the receiving in too. That's 76 plus 42. He's had 1,589 colleges since 2017. That's a lot of touches. Like, a lot of touches. And is that a bad thing? No, but he will get worn out. Thank gosh they have Naheem Hines, another receiving back, very versatile, runs the ball well too. Philip Lindsay is another elusive back. They don't have a power back anymore. Tyson Williams is a good number 4. He'll get his job done. The one problem I have, they don't have a power back. That's literally the only problem. If they had a power back, I think they'd be good. They have it's just the fact they have a really good running game. It's just the fact if Jonathan Taylor gets injured, I think they're still fine, but there's a risk there. You might ask why I was acting so concerned. Obviously, they're an A+. Like, they have a top 3 running back. They have very capable backup. 2 guys that could start. They'd be a couple of the worst starters in the NFL, but 2 very capable backups. So they get an A+, which is obviously 20 out of 20. Because 15, yeah. 20 out of 20. It's really hard for me not to give him an A+. But if Jonathan Taylor gets hurt, I don't think it's the end of the world. But you got to keep that in mind. Jonathan Taylor has had 1,589 touches since the first year, since 2017. Probably even more if I didn't count right. That's a lot of touches. You can't have, if you have over 2,000 touches in your first 10 years between college and the NFL, that's not good. Let me put it that way. Unless he proves me wrong, which I really hope he does. Every running back just gets hurt because of that. If you get overused, you're going to get hurt. Maybe he won't, but he could. Now for the receiver, Michael Pittman Jr. He is a number 1 receiver. Yeah, like, he's a good receiver. People are like, oh, he didn't score, like all that. He's a good receiver, like nothing more. Alec Pierce, I don't like Alec Pierce, but I will admit he can make some big plays downfield. He's a sloppy route runner. He has good hands. He's not going to drop a lot of balls, I'll be honest with you. Not like that, but he won't drop a lot of passes thrown to him. That's just the truth about it. Paris Campbell, he'll get injured by week 6. Ashton Dolan, Desmond Patton, they're both special teamers. Kiki Cutie, I mean, he's not the worst. Mike Strachan, another guy that's a special teamer. They're really weak at the receiving position. Yeah, I know their first 3 guys aren't bad, but they don't have anyone after that. I'll just be honest with you. That's just about it. C+. It's not great. Like, Alec Pierce, we don't know about. Paris Campbell, like I said, he's going to get hurt. It always happens. Oh, yeah, but Paris Campble, when he's out there, he's a really good player. But, what was I going to say? Oh, gosh. But Michael Pittman Jr. is a really good player. They have a number 1 receiver. I don't know about the other stuff yet, but I'll give him a C+. He's like a middle to low end number 1. So if that's a C+, that's 3 plus 9. 3 plus 9 is 12 out of 60. So it's basically no, not 12 out of 60, 12 out of 20, which is basically average. Let's get right to the tight ends. Okay, the tight ends are interesting. Mo Cox, I have no problem with. I don't think he's a good starting tight end. I'd say he's a low end. He can block, though, so I'll give him that. He's a good, well-rounded number 1 tight end. Kylan Granson, he was a 4th-round pick last year. I think he'll be good. He needs to work on his blocking for sure. He definitely needs to work on his blocking. Of course, Jack Doyle did retire. But when he got some snaps, he was a backup tight end. That's just the truth about it. But when he's out there, he's not the worst. Jelani Woods, he's a rookie, 3rd-round pick. He'll get some snaps. I'll guarantee that. And then Andrew Ogletree, he is another rookie, 6th-round pick. He'll be a special teamer. But Jelani Woods is someone you really want to look out for. A lot of potential out of Virginia. He is a receiving tight end, and he can block somewhat, but he's really just a big play tight end. Kylan Granson, we'll see what he can do. He'll make some steps. This is like a really big potential tight end room. It's not much they're good right now, but they do have a lot of potential. Okay, so you know how C+, I'm going to give him another C+ here. I think it's a good tight end room. It's a lot of potential. So it's out of 15, right? Yeah, 15. C+ is 9 out of 15. It's a lot of potential. I think Mo Cox is a good tight end, so they're fine there. But I think Jelani Woods and Kylan Granson will both be good this year. Will they be great? Probably not, but they'll be good. The tight ends will be a big factor this year, especially in the run game too. Let's get the offensive line, which it's interesting. Okay, Here's his offensive line. It's interesting. Matt Pryor, he's not a good tackle. That's just the truth. Matt Pryor is not a good left tackle. Sorry I spelled your name wrong. Matt Pryor, 76.5. Yeah, that's pretty good. Here's my issue with him. He's not a great pass blocker. He's a good run blocker, which fits his simple system. But on those third downs, I don't know if he'll protect well. But that doesn't really matter with Quentin Nelson. Yes, I'll be the first one to tell you Quentin Nelson was not amazing last year. He was good, but he was a little banged up. We'll put it that way. Ryan Kelly, he's been the really good center, top 10 center. Danny Pinter, he's been decent when he's been out there, but we don't really know yet. Braden Smith, solid. Don't really need to talk about him. Dennis Kelly's interesting, of course. Old dude. He is an underdog story. I'll put it that way. But when he played, he was decent. Josh Schletzner, oof. He's interesting as well. He's not athletic. That's the one problem we have with him. Wesley French, another rookie, another UDFA. Wesley French, Bernard Raymond. Both these guys are pretty similar, I'd say, in terms of like their run blocking skill. But Wesley French is literally just a run blocker. Will Fries is not great. Jordan Murray's awful. Like, if you know me, I don't think Jordan Murray was a good prospect. That's just the truth about it. But the starters are pretty good. Matt Pryor, I do think will get better at pass blocking. I really do think he's straight his run blocking, and he showed that last year. But overall, Dennis Kelly, the depth is lacking, I'd say. But they have two guys that can definitely go out there and play well. Their other three guys are interesting, to say the least. So I'll give them an A-, because they do still have three guys that are very, very, very good. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and who the heck is it? Braden Smith are all top 10 at their position, no doubt. But then at right tackle or whatever, tackles, my bad. And then also as well, there's guys like Matt Pryor. I said he's a really good run blocker. His pass blocking will improve. Don't worry. I said I stunk because he was not good at pass blocking at points last year. But then you have Danny Pinter. Danny Pinter's solid. Like, he's an older veteran. It's really good. So, yeah, I'm giving him an A-, which equates to, out of 15, a 5 plus 14.33 out of 15, which is pretty fair for me. It's undoubtedly one of their strengths. It's not the same as it used to be. It's not the best in the NFL anymore, but it's pretty darn good. So, after we did the averages, it was a little bit above B. I'll give them a B, though, there for that. Here's why. They're going to have one of the best running games in the NFL, for sure. Their pass game's going to be decent. Like I said, it's going to be like 2020. Good pass game, not great. It'll be a little bit above average in a really good run game. That's why they get a B. 79 out of 100, close to an 80. It's actually a little less than 79, but I gave them just rounded up. So, basically, they're about an 80 out of 100 offense, which is really good. But here's the thing with this team. We don't know for sure. Matt Ryan will be decent. He's a little bit above average. C is the average, obviously, if you're doing correct. But I think C plus is the 60%, which is where you want to be. That works. But yeah, B and 79 out of 100. I think that's all for the offense. Let's get right to the defense. Okay, starting out with their linebackers, their interior linebackers. It's basically these guys. Forget the defensive line. This is a 4-3 with the edge rushers being on the line. But Darius Leonard's probably the best linebacker in the NFL. Talking about off-ball speed, playmaking ability, it's like that's just the truth. Like, $79, yeah, not great. But he just makes a lot of turnovers. He's not great. He's not. I'll be the first one to tell you he's not the greatest in pass coverage, but that's about it. Bobby Okereke, solid inside linebacker. He's been with them forever. He's fine. Zaire Franklin stepped up when he needed to. He was a little hurt. I'll put it that way, but he wasn't amazing. think I spelled that wrong. No, I didn't. I was good. Yeah, he was a starter, but he wasn't great. EJ Speed is fast, like his name says. Sky Moore is a backup. That's all I gotta say about Sky Moore. He's fine. Jojo Doman, yeah, he's a rookie, UDFA. I'll be interested in what he does in the preseason. I'll definitely watch him. But other than that, I mean, they're not that bad, I'd say. Like, Darius Leonard, like I said, is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Bobby Okereke is a solid starter, and Zaire Franklin showed potential. And I'll just prove this to you. Guys, my bad. But either way, yeah, like, these don't look good, but trust me, he's a starter. PFF is not the most accurate all the time. I'm just saying so you get, like, a little bit of a range. But he wasn't great, you could say, last year, but still. Solid starter. They have their 3 guys. They're fine. The one problem is they're not great in pass coverage, but other than that, they're pretty good. Okay, for the linebackers, B+. They struggle in pass coverage as a unit, but other than that, I think they're great. Like, they make so many plays. They tackle very well, which is another thing. Like, the pass coverage won't be great. Isn't that big of a factor, but they had just decent pass coverage. They'd be the best linebacker, one of the best linebacking cores in the NFL. Yeah, I said they have probably the best linebacker in the NFL in Darius Leonard. They have a starter, 2 starters, likely in Bobby Okereke and Zaire Franklin. And they have good depth too. So that's 3. That's 12 plus 4, which is 16 out of 20, 80. Not bad. Let's get right to the defensive line. Okay, their defensive line is interesting. Yeah, I'll put it that way. It's stacked across the first 4. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue is really good. Grover Stewart, really good. DeForest Buckner, one of the best interior guys in the NFL. Kwity Paye, strong rookie year. Yeah, he only had 4 sacks, but he was really good at facilitating. He made some big plays. Dayo Odeyingbo, I like Dayo Odeyingbo a lot. He was a 2nd-round pick last year. He hasn't been great, I'll be honest with you with that, but I still like him. That's just my truth. Ben Bonogo is interesting. He didn't play a lot, but yeah, he's a backup. Eric Johnson, Chris Williams, some question marks there. Of course, Chris Williams was a UDFA. Eric Johnson was a 5th-round pick. We'll see what they can do. Missouri State had one of the worst offensive lines in college football last year. He was not part of that, I'll be honest with you on that. Tyquan Lewis, very interesting player. Not good in the run game. Good in the pass game. In terms of pass rush. That'll tell you it. He gets after the quarterback well. He's not good in the run game. So, overall, it's a pretty darn good defensive line. I'll give him an A. It's not an A+ just for the reason that if DeForest Buckner or Grover Stewart, hopefully this doesn't happen, they get hurt, we don't know who will be out of the 2 guys, Chris Williams, or who the heck is the other guy. Or what the heck is his name? Oh yeah, Eric Johnson or Chris Williams. One of them should be decent, but we don't know for sure. That's why they get an A, which is basically 14.67 out of 100, which I'd say is not out of 100. 14.67 out of 15, which is almost perfect. Let's get to the pass rush. Okay. Now for the pass rush. Their pass rushers are the guys on the edge. DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart both can get after the quarterback. Grover Stewart, not as much. He's more of a run stopper, but he can get after the quarterback when he needs to. DeForest Buckner is one of the best interior guys. I already said that. You don't really need to know much about DeForest Buckner. He's a monster. Kwity Paye, like I said, he's a good facilitator. He can make the plays off the edge, though. Yannick Ngakoue. He's their number 1 pass rusher. Tyquan Lewis, like I said, can get after it. Dayo Odeyingbo is inconsistent, but I do like his intangibles still. So we'll see what he can do. Because many people thought he was a bust after this year, which I'll be honest with you, he did not play very well. Yeah, he didn't play well, but still. He is a backup at this moment, but I do think they have good pass rush. That's just the truth. It's really good. If they had a superstar pass rusher, not that Yannick Ngakoue and Kwity Paye aren't, they're really good, but they're not that it factor type yet. That's why they get the B+, which is 20. That's 4 plus 16 plus 4 is 20 out of 25, which I think is fair. They're really darn good. Now for the cornerbacks. Okay, this cornerbacks. Kenny Moore's the best slot corner in the NFL. He was absolutely phenomenal last year. Stephon Gilmore, in my opinion, is still a top 10 corner. I know that sounds kind of nuts, but he was amazing. He played really well. Top 5 corner at points last year. And he was the defensive player of the year as well. Isaiah Rodgers, oh my gosh. He is a Trayvon Diggs story. My bad, I don't know how to say your name, Isaiah. Yeah, he's a mystery, I'll put it that way. 70.7, yes, he was a starter, but he gave up. He got burned. I'll put it that way. He got burned a little bit. But, I mean, he's not bad, so yeah, you can put him out there. Will Redmond, wasn't he like a rookie? Yeah, no, never mind. Will Redmond, backup. That's all I have to say. Brandon Faison, he's been solid. He's been solid when he's been out there. He's a safety though. He's a nickel guy too. Marvel Tell. I've never heard of Marvel Tell. No, yeah, I remember he got burned pretty bad. But either way, yeah, it's a pretty darn good corner room. I'm giving him A-. Like I said, Kenny Moore's the best slot in the NFL. Isaiah Rodgers will be able to play outside because Stephon Gilmore will be on the number 1. They don't have the depth you need to be like an elite cornerback room, but it's pretty darn good. So another A- would be 5. That would be 15. It's out of 20, right? Yeah, 15. 19.33 out of 20, which is really good. Now let's get to the safeties. If you didn't know, Khari Willis has retired, which is interesting. I'll put it that way. But Nick Cross, it's your time, bro. Third round pick. You're starting. You gotta make some plays, Nick. Out of Maryland, he got cooked a little bit, but to be honest with you, they never played that many good offenses, so he didn't really have to get burned much. But he does play good in the box, so that's all I have to say. Roddy McLeod, he's a strange guy. On and off the field. He kind of gets, like, locked on something, and then he just gets absolutely burned, or he makes a huge play. 60% against, which is not good, but it's not the worst. Julian Blackmon is he was really good in his rookie season. He kind of didn't start last year, I'll put it that way. And he had some injury issues. So, he wasn't as good, but I think he'll step back up. Armani Watts is not a starter. Not a starter. Trevor Denbow, another rookie, another UDFA. He did not look good against Houston. That was the only game where I actually got to watch him, like, the whole game. He didn't look good. This is a questionable safety room. I'll give him a C-. That's generous, to be honest with you. Rodney McLeod is a low-end starter. I do think Nick Cross would be good, though. That's the good thing about them. They do have Nick Cross, who will play well in the box. And you do have Julian Blackmon, who is another box guy as well. I have to give him a C-, though, because they don't have a legitimate starter. And that's being nice giving him a C-. Many people would give him a D at safety. They're not looking hot. So, that's out of 20. 2.33 plus, it's 11.33 out of 20. Yeah. Which I think is fair. Like, that's generous, though. That's my opinion on their safety room. Okay, their special teams unit. Rodrigo Blankenship. He had a rough year in terms of when he was, like, playing, because he did get hurt. But when he was out there, he wasn't the worst. Roberto Sanchez, he had some type of disease. I forgot. I think he got cancer. He came back and he's still a really good punter. He's a good punter. Like, yeah. Naheem Hines is a monster kicker. Their punt returner and kick returners are really good. And Luke Rhodes is a good long snapper too. Riley Blankenship, he had a good first year, but we did not look good last year. So, yeah, other than that, they look pretty good. Their special teams unit has always been one of the best in the NFL. I'll put that in mind too, but yeah. Just because they have a questionable kicker, I'll give them a B+. But their actual, like, other than that, their special teams unit is one of the best in the NFL, if not the best in the NFL. So that's 4-9, which makes sense. They're a really good special teams unit. Now let's get to the defensive average. Okay, now for this defensive average, I'm giving them a B+, which that's what they deserve. It's 3.8. I'll give them a 4 out of that. And 81.33 overall. So better than their offense by a couple points. But a tiebreaker's, so that's what that is there. But they're great to B+. They have really good defense. It's not like, I think last year was better. If Kyrie Willis didn't retire, they'd probably be like a C+ defense. So they'd probably have maybe an A-, but I think that's fair. Now let's get to the depth. This team's depth is good. It's not great. It's good. I'll give it a B. Solid B. Not a B+, a B. So that would be 19.67 out of 25, which I think is fair. They have a good special teams unit. A good depth. It's not great, but it's good. Yeah. Okay, now let's get to the overall points. Okay, 189 out of 235. Highest I think we've seen yet. I'm not going to get into the real logistics, but wait. That makes sense, yeah. They have a really good roster. The problem is, I don't think it's that great. They have talent. It's a solid roster. I think it's a B. Could I give it a B+? Oh, heck yeah. I want to give it a B+. The thing is, I can't. It honestly probably should be a B+. I'm not giving it to them just because I don't know if they're that good. They're a playoff caliber roster, obviously. I think I could. I want to give them a B+, but their depth is a B. Their special teams doesn't really matter in this instance, though. So we got a B and a B and a B+. I'll give them a B. I think that's fair. Could they be a B+? Yes. I just think if he's injured, something happens, I don't know if they're a B roster anymore. That's the problem. They're still a good team. They have a lot of points, which will help them. So, yes, they have a B roster. I do think they're going to be one of the best B rosters, I think, because they're going to be better than, I think, maybe one B+ roster. But, yeah, the Colts have a really good roster. That's just the truth about it. Hope you guys enjoy. See you in the next one.
So you don't love it. On 1st down and 10, Stafford loads up for the deep shot. Running ahead of everyone is Van Jefferson. Touchdown.